Another awesome laptop, brand new for 2024. This one right here is the Lenovo Yoga. This is a 2-in-1 Lenovo Yoga, as you can see there. It's a convertible laptop that is also a tablet. It does also come with a pen, which is awesome. This laptop here is equipped with a beautiful OLED screen. Not the highest resolution, it's just 1200p, only 60 Hz refresh rate, but I think that's partially done to keep the battery life good on this laptop. This laptop here is very, very thin, very portable, and it should have excellent battery life. It's meant to be taken with you so that you can do work on the go. If you're a professional, if you're a student, graphic designer, whatever it is, you want to have access to, for example, a pen for drawing. You want to have access to a beautiful OLED screen with really high color range and color accuracy. All metal, very premium chassis. Very premium laptop, not heavy, not too thick. I do also have the Pro Yoga here, which is a little bit different because this one's not a 2-in-1. It's a little bit more geared towards performance, not 100% as portable, but still very premium. I'm going to be bringing that in from time to time for this review here. And of course, this laptop is also going to show up in another comparison where I'm looking at all different 14-inch and 16-inch laptops from Lenovo just to help you guys understand what the differences are, because it can be real confusing. So let's jump into this review here. If you're looking for a very premium 2-in-1 with an OLED screen and an included pen, this may be a good one for you. Very nice. So you can see that there. It's got the typical kind of yoga coloration, which is a lighter variant of it, the silver. It also comes with, there are sometimes you can get this darker silver, but I find a lot of the more recent ones are this light silver kind of look to it. Metal top, metal bottom, metal hinges. So these Yogas, I would consider them fairly high-end Lenovo's. They don't necessarily cost a fortune. They can if you get like a Yoga Pro, 16-inch 9i Pro or something like that. Yeah, I mean, they can be pretty expensive. But you can also shop down the stack a little bit here. But these Yogas I would still consider, despite the fact that this one here, for example, didn't cost a ton of money. It was reasonably well priced. I would still consider them some of Lenovo's most premium laptops. And so in general, I would consider this to be fairly high-end. You can get like IdeaPad convertibles in that from Lenovo. And they're not necessarily as nice, but it's all metal, very premium feeling, very sturdy, not overly thick. Like you can see the actual laptop portion is very thin, like a little pen. I mean, that's the click part of a pen. It's like as thick as that, the click part of this Grendon toy pen, right? The whole laptop, excluding the screen. HDMI out, 2 USB-C, that's the one that they want for power, so it might accept a higher wattage, for example. Microphone, headphone combo jack. On the back, we just get vents out, nice. This is all metal so far. And on the right side, we get the power micro SD card, because this often is used for creative types. Right? You can put that in there, go take your photos, do your work for the day, your videos, pop that in there. And then you get your USB-A there. So you're not missing out on legacy ports. You get 2 USB-C, a USB-A, HDMI, and the SD card. That's your power. On the bottom here, basically just some feet to raise it up. 1,500 grams. That's approximately, what is that, 3.3 pounds, something like that. So relatively light for an all-metal laptop. Bring in the charger here. That's a pretty small charger, to be honest. It has this little thing here. It's a really small charger. How do I open it? 65 watts. So that's a really small 65 watts. That's obviously a gallium nitride charger. It's quite small. Some of these Lenovo, the 65 watts are usually a tiny bit bigger. So that's a very small charger there. Yeah, 268 grams, weighs nothing. Click up, click down. Looks like it wants. Does it come with batteries? Please tell me it comes with batteries, because these things take like quadruple A batteries often. Yeah, it does. Nice. And there's just a little washer thing to keep that from. Oh, it's got a little. That's cool. Where does this go? I don't know what this is. I don't know. It's got a little attachment thing. What is this? Does it go in the laptop somewhere? I have no idea. I never saw this. I didn't see this in the picture. It's obviously like a holder of some kind, right? Like that goes in there. That doesn't slide very far. Oh, it does. It slides over very easily. What do you do with it? It's not magnetized. You should stick it on your wall or something. Very strange. I have no idea what this is for. Like, does it go in the SD card slot and then break it? Does it go in the USB slot? Oh, maybe it does actually go in the USB slot. Oh, it does. I guess it goes in there. Yeah, it's rubberized, so it won't break it. I don't know, it just seems like a very weird solution to me. This is a very similar look to the Chau. In my case, it was an IdeaPad 5 Pro 2024. It was Chau because I imported it from China. That's their model. Looks very similar. It's got the speakers on the right and the left there. Fingerprint scanner there. Nice trackpad. Nice style keyboard. Very glossy OLED screen, just like the other one. Camera up top there. Looks very similar to that. Very premium laptops. Very similar to the 16-inch Yoga. This is kind of as good as it gets from Lenovo. So let's actually open it up and see what's on the inside. Okay, so to get inside the Yoga, we're going to do a comparison of all of them internally at the same time, but it's a bit of a pain. It's got a lip on it, you can see here. So I took out the screws there. By the way, it uses a star style screw. All the Yogas do. Only the ThinkPads these days and the Legions use Phillips. So it's a little bit of a lip there. It's going to be tough. I might just actually go in the back here like that. Maybe, nope. I don't know how this is going to separate. Is that going to come off? I'm actually not sure. I haven't got inside of a non-ThinkPad Yoga. Okay, so that basically popped off like that. And there is clips there. I felt too much tension. This is why you take your time when you do these things. I felt tension there, and that's because those would have broken off. You can see that there. Right, those would have snapped off. So you got to go from the front of the laptop. Right, front of the laptop, hinge up. This is the Yoga convertible video, so we're going to look at the internals of this one. I'm going to bring the other ones to compare though. So you can see they're all metal. That's that clip that felt a little bad to clip up. So I guess once you take the thing up, you probably want to give it a little bit of a push. Inside, it looks pretty sparse in terms of what you can see, but that doesn't make it a bad laptop. Nice big battery here, 71 watt hours. The only bigger one I've seen recently is the Chau, or I guess I call it IdeaPad 5 Pro. Speakers there, they are up firing. That's probably just some structural stuff, and then they're going to be up firing here. Hopefully they sound okay. We'll have to see. RAM, you can see there's no SODIMM, right? So underneath here we have daughter board. You have your CMOS battery there if you need to replace that down the road. Let's see what we got in here. This is just to protect the components from the metal bottom. You don't want those things touching. So this is basically just you can see that there. There's your NVMe, 2242 size. You wouldn't be able to put a bigger one in because it would come out of the back of the laptop. So you're stuck with the 2242. That's okay. They can get pretty good storage though these days, 2 terabytes or so. Upgradable Wi-Fi there. So that's good. RAM is soldered to the motherboard. This is 16 gigabytes. I didn't actually see an 8 gigabyte, luckily. Fortunately, they're finally getting rid of that. Cooling looks good though. Dual heat pipe on that, so that's your CPU, APU, I guess. Dual heat pipe, one big one, one smaller one, and they actually look quite big, quite good. They go up here, and then that's a huge fan. The diameter of that fan is massive. I don't know if it goes all the way to the edge of it, but if it does, it's literally an immense fan. The diameter of that fan is probably one of the biggest I've ever seen on a laptop, assuming it goes all the way to the edge. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it, for example, just ends right here. Because if it doesn't, that's a huge fan. That looks really good actually for a convertible laptop. The soldered RAM, it sucks. The only thing I don't like is that 2242. Wish they could shift that down to here so you could get a 2280. Otherwise, it looks pretty good though. And here's a comparison to the IdeaPad 5 Pro. You can see it's, I'd say, better laid out, I suppose, I guess. You can actually see the speakers here, the down firing ones at least. And they're nice speakers there. The kind of higher watt square style. Looks really good. NVMe is a 2280. Dual fans here. They look very interesting kind of size. This one's slightly smaller than that one. This one here is dedicated graphics, so you do get right here. There wasn't a plate there. In this model here, you get the RTX 3050 under there, 6 gigabyte. And then you get the AMD there. Okay, let's start with the keyboard here. We'll do a little typing test. You can see the nice little keyboard. So it does have backlighting. It doesn't have RGB, but it does have backlighting. See that there? Max, off, auto, min, max. You can see that there that the keycaps themselves are very low profile, right? The actual physical keycaps are not large, but there is a decent amount of travel, right? They actually sit slightly above the chassis and they actually end up below the chassis. So there's a lot of travel on them, despite that fact. They do have a metallic kind of feel to them, plasticky metallic kind of texture to them here, which I like quite a bit. That's personal preference, but I actually do like this type of keycap more than the other Yoga that has kind of like a rubbery kind of surface tablet, but both of them are really good. So it's an excellent typing experience. I would prefer if the keycaps themselves were slightly taller, like the actual physical keycaps went from that size to that size. Other than that, it's rock solid. Fairly low profile keyboard on a thin and light laptop. It's going to be superb for typing realistically because it's similar to a MacBook, like the same type design philosophy. However, it's significantly better than a MacBook keyboard. Night and day improvement over a MacBook. Nice big trackpad here. It's nice smooth texture as well. So, you know, this is kind of a metallic type. This is more smooth feeling there. Nice click on it too. If for some reason you like muted, mushy clicks, you won't like this. I like nice sharp clicks. I like to have tactility when I'm typing in that. And standard touch, so you can just, you know, navigate via touch, right? Or you can use the pen. You can use it like a mouse. So you have the click button here, I guess left click. You can drag, right? You can right click like that. So you can do all your navigation with this, and then you don't have to use your fingers and get your screen all grimy, which I do. That's my biggest peeve with, I guess, touchscreens in general, is you get fingerprints all over them. I can't stand fingerprints. Latency test, we'll put it into tablet mode, and in theory, right, it automatically disabled the trackpad. You can see that on its own, decided to do that. So the trackpad on the back isn't going to do anything here. Let's check the rotation. Nice and snappy, just basically instant. The only thing you have to be aware of is there's actually a button there. So I've been pressing that. I've pressed that a couple times actually by accident. So just be aware that that's your power button. I think that's a bad location for it because this is a 2-in-1. The power button should be on the actual keyboard. So sorry, Lenovo, that's a really bad spot for it, because if I pick it up like that and I set it down, I can accidentally hit the button. And the charger's on the top there, so you have to flip it upside down. So that's a critique right there, right off the bat. That button right there should be on the other side of the laptop, since the charger is there alongside the charger, because you're probably not having the charger running underneath. Or you could put it up here on the top of the laptop, or you could put it on the actual keyboard itself, like over here. It should not be where it is. It's a bad location for it. So let's come in here and we can do a little drawing. Okay, so let's check the palm rejection. We're good to go. Yeah, so it looks pretty good. Latency is really good, actually. It's fast. So I have found that Lenovo pens are all over the place. In the past, they actually weren't very good. Several years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, they weren't very good. And it was really, you know, Apple and Microsoft that had the nice pens. Nowadays, Lenovo actually has really nice pens. I'm actually enjoying this quite a bit. Nice and snappy. It's a beautiful OLED screen, so the colors are going to pop. And because it's glossy, it feels nice to have your hand on it. It's not like a kind of matte screen that would kind of feel kind of gross to have your hand on it, I guess. Should also make it a little easier to clean too, so that's kind of nice. But I'm noticing no input lag, so the pen does have that thing where it kind of follows along. But overall, it's not like, I don't feel any like lag, I would say, when using it. Yeah, it's good. That's about as good as it gets from me in terms of writing on a screen. I do want to check the specifications here. I know what they are, but I want to see like what the RAM actually runs at. So, you know, we do get that really, really, really high-end processor, 8840HS. As of right now, the beginning of June 2024, it's the best processor on the market for a laptop. Really. I mean, you could argue for some other ones like super high-powered Intel, but I mean, you're going to also get garbage battery life. This is the most balanced CPU. It's going to have incredibly good performance. It should, in theory, have good cooling. It has great iGPU. The Intel Core Ultra would be the closest to this, but this should technically still perform it. And AMD has more stuff coming in the future, but this will still be a good CPU for many years to come. It's 8 real cores, 16 real threads. Memory is going to run fast, 6400 megahertz. Actually, some of the Intel stuff does run a bit quicker, which is nice. So that's fast though, but there is faster RAM out there. Samsung MVZ, that's technically a Samsung 980 Pro variant. Wi-Fi 6E Realtek, it's fine, it is what it is. And 780M graphics. You can see here that the memory is 16 gigabytes, but we are stealing some for the UMA frame buffer. So we have 6 gigabytes being used by programs, and then the GPU will steal memory. In theory, Lenovo has good swapping and automatic allocation. So when you load up a game that needs 4 gigabytes, it'll steal 4 gigabytes from here. So one of the negatives of this laptop is the dedicated graphics. If you are going to be doing gaming on it, which you absolutely can, because it has 780M graphics, good quality gaming on it, we'll show later, you are going to be a bit limited in terms of battery and in terms of RAM. So if you can get this laptop with 32 gigabytes, as per my usual recommendations, I would recommend it. Yeah, that looks really nice. Glossy screen, so it's a it's an OLED screen, but it's also a glossy OLED screen. My camera will not capture this properly. It just can't. The camera tech out there, unless I had a $50,000 camera, it's not going to capture this properly. Reds look very vibrant, which is indicative of a good color space. Of course, absolute blacks. Screen is off here, so you get absolute blacks. There's no such thing as like bleed or anything unless it's a damaged screen, I suppose. Could be bloom technically, but I don't see any bloom around any of those there, so it's looking really nice. Yeah, super. It's a really nice screen. I mean, the only negative I would say is it's 60 hertz and 1200p, but there's reasons for these things, right? The fact that it's a probably trying to push some good battery life because it's a 2-in-1 portable, super portable. They probably do care about battery life. That strifing pattern you can't see in real life, just so you know. There we go. It's a gorgeous screen. Really, actually a gorgeous screen. Yeah, like it's a 10 out of 10 screen. The only thing I would be picky about is I would prefer higher refresh rate and higher resolution, but I mean, some people would actually target this. Lower refresh rate, 1200p means better battery life. So for the specifications of what it is, it's an absolutely gorgeous, fantastic screen. The speakers are up firing here, so there's no blocking on the bottom. It gets very loud, as you can see, above 80. And because it's directional right into my ears, it's too loud, actually, in max volume. Yeah, very nice speakers. Very, very nice. There are some better ones out there. Actually, the Pro 7, rather than the convertible itself, has better speakers. There's just more bass. These are very clear, very crisp, nice and loud, good amount of bass. So it's basically voluminous from the low end all the way up to the high end. I'd give these, for a tablet 2-in-1, they're probably a 10 out of 10. But they're not going to compete with something like, say, a MacBook Pro. The Pro version of this, even the 7 Pro version of this, has better speakers. Some of the 16-inch laptops out there are better. The G14 has better speakers, but I mean, for what this is, like a convertible, very thin laptop, you still got to rate it relatively. So they're absolutely fantastic speakers overall. Okay, I'm going to do some Cinebench runs, not for score. I'm just more for noise. Let's see how it sounds and the thermals on that. We'll get the scores after. I don't expect it to be very loud because that's a huge fan. Larger fans are going to basically not have to spin as fast to move the same amount of air as smaller ones, so I expect it to actually run fairly quiet. Dual heat pipe too. Yeah, this is performance mode, max performance. 46, and it's a very low pitch, not irritating fan. This is the type laptop that probably you can just let it rip and you're going to be fine. The temperatures aren't even close to thermal throttling. Now, I'm not sure if this is a super high wattage variant. Yeah, you can see here it's only running at 30 watts, which is still good. You get very good power scaling on an 8845HS at 30 watts, but the 8845HS can use more watts. It is possible. It is capable of doing so. Technically, if this was a higher wattage delivery laptop, you could get this up to 45, 50 watts easily, at which point it would produce more heat and get hotter and produce more noise as a result. This is a bit of a low watt. Yeah, you can see the score is not outstanding. 12,000. This chip is capable of getting much higher rate, like a 16, 18,000 or so. This is just a rough estimate. It is definitely capable of doing that. However, again, this is a low watch, thin Ultrabook 2-in-1, so they have limited the wattage that goes to the chip, which improves obviously battery life for one thing, but the other thing is temperatures, cooling, and fan noise is much reduced. Okay, and we're on balance mode here. Let's see what that does, if there's any difference in noise. It's not that it's noisy in the first place, but I can't tell if the fans are on. My actual ceiling roof vent is making noise. I think the fans are on, but they're inaudible. Yeah, they are on, but facing down they are absurdly quiet. Okay, let's have a look at some benchmarks here. So we can see here that in the Cinebench, the scores are pretty good overall. We have balance on the left here, performance on the right. The 8845HS is capable of doing a fair bit better in a higher wattage chassis. However, for such a thin and light laptop with generally lower wattage that's supplied to the system, it's going to be pretty good here. You're going to have no problems doing things like 4K video editing on this chip here. Wi-Fi is incredibly fast. You can see here about 700 megabytes a second. That's as fast as my Wi-Fi goes, so very quick. SSD here is obviously very good as well. We can see it's a very high-end Samsung drive, 6,000 megabytes a second or so reads, just shy of 5,000 writes, so very good there. Battery life is going to be absolutely outstanding on this laptop. At idle, with everything turned up, brightness turned, everything up, you're going to get around 10 hours or so, which is superb, obviously, especially with a relatively small battery. Then you can see here that I did some 1080p YouTube here at 60 frames per second. And you can see here that also the battery life is still pretty good. It goes down a little bit here, but you're still going to get probably around 5 or 6 hours of battery life of doing, 1080p YouTube. If it had a bigger battery, obviously you get better battery life, but again, the chip here is pretty efficient here from AMD. Okay, and here's a look at the webcam. Looks pretty good. Again, not the most easy scene. There's a little bit of light on the lot of light on the left here, just a little bit on the right here. Really nothing coming in from the front. I often decide to do these with harder scenes rather than just a beautiful light on the front. That doesn't really make sense. But it looks good. Actually, it looks really, really good. Good polling rate. It's not making me look like a ghost, super pasty. It's also not oversaturating me. It's not overexposing the light. It looks like the sensor is good enough to actually just pull off the scene. So good webcam. Again, it's kind of a professional style laptop. I expect it to have a good webcam. Okay, so what do I think of the Lenovo Yoga here? Brand new for 2024. I think it's fantastic. Obviously, if you're looking for maximum performance out of a laptop, this is not it here. This is meant to be a very, very thin solution. It may not show up so thin on camera, but very, very thin laptop and very, very premium. All metal. Metal lid, metal bottom. Inside, you also get that metal keyboard deck, backlit. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful OLED screen there. Not the highest resolution, just 1200p. Not the highest refresh rate, just 60 hertz. But I think that's done partially, maybe to keep costs down, but also for battery life, right? This one here is a very portable laptop with a pretty big battery and an AMD CPU. So you actually get very good battery life out of it, despite the fact that, it's a bright OLED screen there. You get access to the pen for drawing apps, which is really nice. It's nice that this is just included. You don't have to pay any extra. Obviously, it's a very premium package here. All metal chassis, like I said, great keyboard. Audio is good, camera's good, screen's good, keyboard's good, trackpad's good, pen works good, and the quality of the pen itself is good. Battery life is fantastic. Performance is good, I would say. So overall, if you're looking for a nice 2-in-1 laptop with a beautiful OLED screen for not a super high price, probably a good option for you.